So without further ado, Mr. Bidemi, please can you start? Mr. Bidemi will be speaking on the topic. Bidemi, are you still here? Miss Bukola. Hello, ma'am. Hello? Miss Bukola. Is Miss Abimbola taking the session?
Hello. Ma'am.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, Mr. Bidemi.
Is she on or Mr. Bidemi before Miss Abimbola?
Mr. Bidemi is the one taking the session. But
Ma'am?
you get that?
No, I
Hello,
didn't,
ma'am.
ma'am. I can hear you,
Okay, I
ma'am.
said that Mr. Abidemi's session.
All right, ma'am.
However, I think his network went off now. He should join us back soon. So immediately after Mr. Bidemi's session, we would have Mr. Bimbola back.
All right, ma'am. Hello, doctors.
Okay.
Thank you for staying with us. We are so sorry. This is our first conference, so you should understand how it works. Now, when a child is working, he has to trip some time and then stand again and take steps. So thank you all for staying with us. Please don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel while we wait for Mr. Bidemi to join us. Doctors, are you still here? Miss Bukola. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
I think Miss Abimbola, if she's around, she should continue. When we have Mr. Bidemi, then he can continue with the session, so that we don't take much time. How about that, ma'am?
I reach out to him. His network went off just now, as very soon. Let me quickly reach out to him.
So Miss Abimbola can continue if she's online. Thank you so much, doctors. We are grateful. Thank you for appreciating our efforts. Thank you so much. Miss Abimbola, if you're here, please can you continue? Doctors, if you have any question, you can please post it. Let's see. Okay, we have Mr. Bidemi back. Mr. Bidemi, you're welcome back. Hello, sir.
Oh, hello, ma'am. Thank you very kindly. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can, sir.
All right.
So good to have you back. All right, before you take the stage, before you start talking, I have to read your profile. I know it's a very short one, but your profile. I'm almost there. Okay, Mr. Bidemi. Very short profile. That's nice. All right, I'm going to take your profile right now. Mr. Bidemi's profile coming shortly. Boy, by 8 years teaching experience under his belt, Bidemi Badmosi is an advocate at teaching individuals the ins and outs of standard English with a view to upscaling their communicative competencies. With an ingenious resolve to diversify his skill set, he is a no-holds-barred writer who also copy-edits the intellectual property of clients within and outside Nigeria. So Mr. Bidemi is speaking on the topic grammar essentials. We're told he's the grammarian. So let's hear from the grammarian. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very kindly once again, ma'am. It's a privilege to be here. It's a privilege to pass this evening.
So we're waiting to dish. We are here with our plates. So Check. You need to
Okay.
like stick it out for
Okay.
us.
So
So we're
should I
ready.
should I proceed on that note?
Yes, sir. You have the
Oh,
stage. You have everything.
all right, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I trust that each and every out there is in mint condition. Before I start the ball rolling, this is this opportune moment to appreciate Madam Ulukukola for giving me this template to bring my finesse and expertise to bear. I also love to acknowledge everyone that will participate in this evening's facilitation. So let's start the ball rolling without ado. So this evening's session is entitled Grammar Essentials, and on that, I'd like us to take a painstaking look at one grammatical phenomenon that many a person struggles to get to grips with. Madam, I think you can hear me clearly. I want to
Yes.
establish that before I begin. All right, no problem. All right, then. So today we are going to consider one grammatical phenomenon that many people find it difficult to get to grips with. Okay, we are going to do that in painstaking detail. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening we are going to look at the dynamics of stative verbs. The dynamics of stative verbs. Some people call stative verbs state verbs. So whichever way you choose to call it or name it or designate it, we're going to consider the dynamics of state or stative verbs in painstaking detail. All right, let me begin on this note. The significant majority of us were growing up, some of our English teachers then that verbs are action words, or they tell us a verb is an action word. Now, here's the thing we need to know in that connection. While that definition is not incorrect, while it is not incorrect, the truth of that definition is it is inadequate. That's the first thing I would like the general listener to mental note of, that verbs are not always action words. That's the first thing I'd like us to have etched on our memories, okay? Verbs are not always action words. Against that background, what are verbs, or what is the adequate way to define verbs? Now, verbs are words that portray actions or conditions. So that's what we need to know. Verbs do not portray actions only. Verbs could portray either actions or conditions. If you give conditions, you could as well call it state. Okay, the state of something. So verbs portray actions or conditions. Now let's delve into the point at issue evening. Ladies and gentlemen, what are stative verbs? Because that was what I said earlier on. I said earlier on that we are going to cover the dynamics of stative verbs in painstaking detail. On that note, what are stative verbs? That's what I would like us to consider at this moment. What are stative verbs? So to begin with, you need to know that stative verbs are not action words. That's the first thing that the general listener out there should have inscribed in their mind. Okay, stative verbs do not portray actions; they are words. All right. In point of fact, stative verbs are verbs that represent or conditions or states. That's what we need to know. Stative verbs are not action words. They are not used to represent actions. They are, in point of fact, used to represent conditions or states. And as a result of the fact that these verbs are stative verbs or these verbs are static, these verbs cannot be used in the progressive tenses or what we call the continuous tenses. So when I say progressive tenses or the continuous tenses, I mean verbs in the ing form, verbs that are inflected with the ing. Okay, for example, we have sing as the infinitive, that is a verb in its original form. Then we have singing as a verb in the progressive or continuous tense. So what you need to know is that first and foremost, stative verbs are not absolute. To know is that stative verbs are used to represent or portray conditions or a state. Okay. Then last but not least, you need to know that stative verbs do not themselves to the ing form, which is otherwise called the progressive tenses or the continuous tenses. That's what you need to know. Now let's verbs that portray actions on the flip side. Let's look at verbs that portray actions. Now on the flip side, we have dynamic verbs. Dynamic verbs are verbs that portray actions. They are used to demonstrate or perform actions, okay? And classical examples of these type of verbs are watch, as in to watch something, like to watch a movie, to explain something, jump, okay? We have climb, as in to climb a ladder. We have sing, like I said early on. We have eat, drink, dance, walk, build, like to build an edifice, drive, laugh, read, and the like. So those are examples of dynamic verbs. And your dynamic verbs, on the contrary, can lend themselves to the ing form, or what we call the tenses. So do not forget that considering stative verbs, but I just want us to have I just want us to have it at the back of our minds that we have the dynamic verbs as well. That is verbs that portray actions and verbs that can be used in the progressive or the continuous tenses. So without further ado, let's proceed to the features of stative verbs. The features of stative verbs. Based on what I have here, there are 4 fundamental features of stative verbs, and each fundamental feature has its own quintessential examples of verbs under it. Okay, so the first feature is what we call sense and perception. Some stative verbs could be used to portray sense and perception. That is what I would like the general listener to have etched or engraved on their mind. So prime examples of stative verbs that represent or portray sense and perception are see, S-E-E. Hear, F-E-E-L. We have taste, smell, appear, seem as in S-E-E-M, and look. Those are prime examples of verbs, stative verbs in point of fact, that are used to portray sense and perception. The second feature is thoughts and opinions. Thoughts and opinions. Yes, we have a good number of stative verbs that could be used to portray or depict thoughts and opinions. Examples of these verbs are agree, when you agree with someone; believe, we have doubts; guess, imagine; know, recognize, we have remember; then we have understand. Those verbs could be used to portray thoughts and opinions depending on how they are deployed in different contexts or circumstances. The third feature I have here is feelings and emotions. Yes, your stative verbs could also be used to depict feelings and emotions. On the strength of this fact, we have characteristic examples like love, to love something; prefer, want, wish, dislike, hate, and like. Those are characteristic examples of verbs that could be used to portray or show feelings and emotions. Last but not least, in regard to the features of your state, are your possession and measurement. Yes, that is, we have stative verbs that could also be used to portray possession and measurement. Classical examples in this regard are belong, measure, have, own, to own something, that is to possess something. So we have own, we have possess, we have weigh, to weigh something, then we have owe, when you owe someone something, OWE. Those are the fundamental features of stative verbs. Let me quickly do a recapitulation of that before I proceed to the next item I have here. Your features of stative verbs are comprised of one, sense and perception. Prime examples here are see, hear, feel, taste, smell, appear, seem, and look. The second feature is your thoughts and opinions. Okay, and two examples in this regard are agree, believe, doubt, guess, imagine, know, recognize, remember, and understand. The third one is your feelings and emotions. Characteristic examples here are like, love, prefer, want, wish, dislike, and hate. Then last but not least is possession and measurement. In this regard, we have the measure, own, possess, weigh, and owe. So let's proceed to how these stative verbs can be deployed clockwork precision. That's the next thing I would like us to consider in meticulous detail this lovely evening. How these stative verbs, how a good number of these stative verbs deployed with pinpoint accuracy. Now, do not forget that I was able to establish the fact early on that stative verbs do not lend themselves to the ing form. That is, you are not supposed to use your stative verbs in the progressive tenses or the continuous tenses. Okay, that is something you need to note. And of course, it's going to be the pivots that will determine some of the that I'm going to within the hearing of the general public or the general listener going forward. So bear in mind that stative verbs do not credence to progressive tenses. Okay, so instead of using your present continuous tense, when it comes to make use of your stative verb, instead of making use of your present continuous tense, you have to make use of your present tense, your simple present tense. Okay, so whenever you want to deploy your stative verb, instead of saying is, you're supposed to say something like can see, because see should not be used in the progressive tense. So instead of using your present tense, instead of using your present continuous tense, I beg your pardon, you are supposed to use your present tense. And instead of using your past continuous tense, you're supposed to make use of your simple past tense. So I'm going to consider practical examples of these stative verbs with copy sentences to buttress and reinforce all I have said. Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin with the verb see. S-E-E, the verb see. I would like you to recollect that I mentioned or emphasized early on that see falls into the category of sense and perception. So whenever you are trying to deploy see to portray sense, and you are not to use it in the ing or the progressive tenses. Now, I have a good number of examples here. Look at the first example I have here. Pay attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like you to pay scrupulous and undivided attention to what I have to say. Now, the first sentence here is, my daughter is seeing two women in the adjacent street. My daughter is seeing two in the adjacent street. Now, you discover that here I said my daughter is seeing. And like I said earlier, see represents sense and perception in this context. So instead of saying my daughter is seeing, which is grammatically inappropriate, the right thing to say is my daughter can see. Can plus see. That is can plus your simple present tense. So instead of saying my daughter is seeing two women in the adjacent street, it goes the general listener out there to say, daughter can see. My daughter can see two women in the adjacent street. The next example sentence I have here is, were you seeing what transpired between people? Let me take that again. Were you seeing what transpired between Peter and Paul? Grammatically speaking is inadequate. Okay, that statement portrays a grammatical dysfunction on the strength of the fact that see is a state verb. So instead of saying were you seeing what transpired? You're supposed to say, did you see? Okay, were you seeing what between Peter and Paul is incorrect? Did you see what transpired between Peter and Paul is absolutely correct. So that's another example to buttress the fact that see should not be deployed in the progressive tense whenever you mean to portray sense and perception. Another one I have here is, I am just seeing your WhatsApp message. I am just seeing WhatsApp message. Instead of saying that, it is appropriate to say, I have just seen. Hi plus have plus just plus seen. Just seen your WhatsApp message. I often hear people, the truth about stative verbs is that many people make use of the stative verbs, of a good number of these stative verbs in the progressive tenses. Even the native speakers, yes, they commit this grammatical error. But the truth is, it is not right grammatically. And that's the very essence of teaching what I'm teaching this evening. So instead of saying, I'm just seeing your WhatsApp message, it behooves you to say, I have just seen your WhatsApp message. The next example sentence I have here is, Patricia can see the vacancy advertised in the newspaper. Take note that I said Patricia can see, not Patricia is seeing. Okay, so we have Patricia can see the vacancy advertised in the newspaper. Now, this is the interesting thing about the verb see. There are instances whereby one can deploy see and it will be used in the dynamic sense. That is, it will be used in the ing sense. We have instances like that. What I'm trying to say in essence is that it is not every time that the verb see is stative. There are times that see could be used in the dynamic sense. And in that connection, it could take the ing form correctly. Now, let me cite an instance here. Let me use two names. Now, if Deborah and Paul are in a room, it's appropriate to say they are seen. Okay, that's appropriate because in that context now, see is no longer a stative verb. It's not portraying a condition. It's actually portraying an action. They are in a romantic relationship. So it's appropriate to say Deborah and Paul are seen. Okay, I also have Naomi and Johnson had been seen before she met Jacob. That is before Naomi met Jacob. Naomi and Paul had been seen. That is, they had been in a romantic relationship before Naomi met Jacob. So whenever C talks about the fact that two people are in a romantic relationship, it is appropriate to say they are seen. Okay, there is no problem with that. Another instance I have is, we are seeing our grandparents tomorrow. Now, if someone might ask there, an inquisitive mind might ask that, is it appropriate to say we are someone tomorrow? It is absolutely appropriate. It is absolutely appropriate to say that. Now, why is that so? If you look at seeing in this context, it is not a condition, it's actually an action. Seeing here talks about the fact that you intend to visit someone. And of course, for you to visit someone, you either get in a car, or you get on a bus, or you get on an airplane, or you get in a taxi, or you could even journey on foot. So that depicts an action. That is not a state. And because seeing in this case talks about the fact that you intend to visit someone, it is appropriate to use it in the ing sense. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that see in this context is not a state or stative verb. It is actually dynamic. We are seeing our grandparents tomorrow. That's grammatically appropriate. Another instance I have here is, I won't be seeing you next week. That's equally permissible. I won't be seeing you next week simply means I won't be visiting you next week. So on the strength of the fact that visit as a verb is dynamic, seeing to here is quite acceptable. So that's what we should know. I think I have another instance here. Yes. Pay rapt attention to this, ladies and gentlemen. Thompson is seeing the President of the United States out. Now, in this case, when you see someone out, you are trying to show someone the way out of a building. So it's equally a dynamic verb. It is not a state. This see here is not portraying a state or a condition. It's actually portraying an action. So in this case, see is not a stative verb. It's a dynamic verb. It's appropriate to say something is seeing the President of the United States out. That is trying to show him the way out of whatever building both parties were at that point in time. So what you need to know in this regard as a summary is that see is not a stative verb in all circumstances or contexts. Okay, when you use see to portray perception and sense, definitely it's a stative verb. But when you use see to establish the fact that two individuals are in a romantic relationship, it is appropriate to say they are seeing. When you intend to use see to indicate the fact that you intend to visit someone, it's appropriate to say seeing. Okay, we are seeing our friends tomorrow. I won't be seeing my mother next month. Those example sentences are admissible. Okay, then last but not least, when you want to show someone the way out of a building, you could also say seeing. Something is seeing the president of the United States out. So that's what you need to know in regard to the verb see. I have the verb here, HEAR. That's another classic quintessential example of your stative verb. So you're supposed to deploy the verb here with clockwork precision. Now, whenever you are on the phone, because I hear this often, whenever people are on the phone or they are trying to disclose pieces of information to the other party by phone, I often hear people say, "Are you hearing me?" I hear that a lot. I hear that as often as not. "Are you hearing me?" "Dorcas, is that you? Are you hearing me?" And stuff like that. Yes, so what we need to know is whenever you are on the phone with someone or you are trying to disseminate a piece of information over the phone, the right thing to say is, "Can you hear me?" Not, "Are you hearing me?" Okay, so I have, "Hello, Patrick. Hello, Patrick. Are you hearing me?" That's inappropriate. Then we have, "Hello, Patrick. Can you hear me?" So please, let's try as much as possible to weave this into our everyday communication. Okay, it will serve us in good stead. So whenever you're on the phone, make it a habit to say, "Can you hear me?" Not, "Are you hearing me?" Okay, and of course, it is owing to the fact that hear is a stative verb in this context. That is, it portrays sense and perception too, just as in the case of see. Another example sentence I have here is, Brenda is hearing the voices of intruders next door. Brenda is hearing the voices of intruders next door. Instead of saying Brenda is hearing the voices, it is appropriate to say Brenda can hear the voices. Can plus hear. Just as we said early on in regard to see, can plus see. Instead of saying I am seeing you, say I can see you. Instead of saying Brenda is hearing the voices, say Brenda hear the voices. So Brenda can hear the voices of intruders next door. Last but not least in this regard, I have Matilda was hearing a bus drive off. This actually portrays what we call the past continuous tense. Was plus ing. So because of the fact that here is a stative verb, I'm not supposed to say Matilda was hearing a bus drive off. It behoves me to say Matilda heard a bus drive off. So instead of saying was hearing, I simply said heard. That's instead of making use of the past continuous tense, I made use of the simple past tense. Matilda heard a bus drive off. Now, do we have an instance whereby here can be used in the dynamic sense, just like I was able to case of the verb see? Of course we do. Okay. When you intend to keep in touch with, you can say I am hearing from the person too. Okay, for example, I have, are you hearing from your cousin who lives in the United Arab Emirates? That's appropriate because here, hearing is no longer verb. It represents the fact that you are trying to keep in touch with someone, okay? Maybe by reaching out to the person by phone or any other means, okay? Or you're trying to chat with the person. Are you hearing from your cousin? So yeah, hearing is appropriate because it means to keep in touch with someone, okay? Now the next verb I would like us to consider in painstaking detail is the verb have. H-A-V-E, the verb have. I was able to establish the fact that when we talk about possession, that is to possess something, have is a quintessential example of a stative verb in that regard. So we are going to look at how have can be used in the stative as a stative verb, and of course as a dynamic verb. So let's start with whenever you want to indicate possession. That is, you want to indicate the fact that you own something. You want to establish the fact that something belongs to you. Whenever you want to do that, bear in mind that have should always be used as a state or stative verb. For example, it doesn't sound I am having a wife, 4 children, and 2 Florence. Grammatically are busy. A wife, 4 children, and 2 flourishing businesses. Okay, so since you know that have here talks about the fact that you own or you possess something, simply say I have. Okay, instead of saying I am having a wife, say I have a wife. I have a wife, 4 children, and 2 flourishing businesses. So whenever have indicates the fact that something belongs to you, do not attempt to use it in the ing sense. Now the next context that warrants or necessitates that we use have as a stative verb.
All right, people. I guess Mr. Bidemi is having network issues. Once the network is up, he will join us. Hope you're getting value. If you're still here with us, let's know. Let's see your comments. Let me know you're here and that you've gotten value thus far from have. I can see, not I am seeing. I hope you're getting value. Dorcas, I hope you're still here. Eunice, I hope you're still here with us. Are you still here with us? Dorcas, Eunice, are you still here? And I hope you've subscribed to our YouTube channel.
Hello,
all right, welcome back, sir.
Wow. Thank you. I'm sorry, I lost connection at a point. I apologize in that regard. All right. So before I lost connection, I was talking about the fact that whenever you make use of the verb have to portray the fact that someone is indisposed or ill, have is a state verb. Now look at this instance. Titi, a fever. You can say that I used have there as though it were a dynamic verb. Now, come to think of it, is it possible for one to demonstrate having a fever or having a headache, just like you can demonstrate climbing a ladder or singing a song? It's not possible. So that's what will help you to understand the fact that have should not be used in the dynamic sense when you want to indicate the fact that someone is indisposed. So instead of saying Titi is having a fever, the right thing to say is Titi has a fever. Couldn't get any simpler. Okay, he has a fever. John is having a temperature is wrong. It is totally wrong. The right thing to say is John has a temperature. It is that simple. Okay. Alternatively, one could say John is running a temperature. That's quite acceptable in English. So do not say John is having a temperature. You could either say John has a temperature or John is running a temperature. In a similar vein, we have Bola and Benga are having splitting headaches. Bola and Benga are having splitting headaches. That is also grammatically inappropriate. The right thing to say in this regard is Bola and Benga have. We are talking about two people here, so you should go with the plural verb have. Bola and Benga have splitting headaches. That 90-year-old man is having a stroke. That's not right. The right thing to say is that 90-year-old man has a stroke. Okay. I also have Victoria is not having sore throat. Victoria is not throat. That's grammatically inappropriate too. So instead of saying Victoria is not having a sore throat, it behoves you to say Victoria does not have. Let me take that rather slowly. Instead of saying Victoria is not having a sore throat, it is appropriate to say Victoria does not have a sore throat. So try as much as possible not to use have in the ing sense when you mean to indicate the fact that someone is indisposed or someone is ill. Don't say someone is having a headache or someone is having a backache. Say someone has a backache, or say they have a backache, they have a headache, they have a temperature, okay? The person has a stroke, not the person is having. The person has a sore throat, not having a sore throat. Can be used in the dynamic sense, but of course, for instance, I have Tom is having a bath. Tom is having a. Let the general listener take cognizance of the fact that I didn't say Tom is having his bath. Okay, it is not his bath. It is a bath. In standard English, that's what we say. We say someone is having a bath, not somebody is having his or a bath. So Tom is having a bath is correct because here having is an action. It's possible for one to demonstrate having a bath, unlike in the case of when it's indisposed and the person can demonstrate having a headache. So yeah, Tom is having a bath is grammatically permissible. It's appropriate. I also have the members of staff are having the annual meeting. The members of staff are having the annual general meeting. Have in this case too is having in this case too is permissible because it depicts the fact that an action is going on here. It is not a state. It's to hold a meeting. It takes maybe moving items of furniture from one place to another, setting other things in place, and what have you. So having in this context is appropriate. The members of staff are having the annual general meeting. Last but not least here, I have, are the children having lunch? Having here simply means eating. So it's a dynamic verb now, not a state verb. Are the children having lunch? It's appropriate. So let's move to smell is another state verb that portrays sense and perception. The general listener should get used to that already. We've talked about the case of see. We've also considered here. So we have smell. Okay. All right, ma'am. I'll make it snappy now. So we have smell as another verb that would be used to portray. So instead of saying my husband, simply say my husband smells nice. My husband smells nice. As often as not yet people say someone is smelling nice. That's not correct. Simply say the person smells or they smell nice. Okay. I have Gabriel was smelling that something was burning. That's not right. Gabriel was smelling that something was burning. Simply say Gabriel smell that something was burning. Okay, let me quickly run through other examples that I have here, as in regard to other verbs. We also have taste as another stative or state. Saying the food is tasting delicious. Simply say the food tastes delicious. Okay. Then we have think, think, think as another state verb. Okay. When it depicts sense and perception, you are supposed to use. You are not supposed to use this in the ing sense. So instead of saying I am thinking this is a good idea, simply say I think this is a good idea. But we have a situation whereby think could mean that you are trying to process a thought. You are trying to process a thought as a form of reflecting on something, maybe to give an answer to a question. In this case now, think can be used in the dynamic sense or the ing sense. For example, I could say Johnson is thinking about his brother's wedding. So yeah, thinking to reflect is trying to reflect about something. It's appropriate. Okay. And let's assume somebody walks up to me and say, and walks up to me and the person says something like, Bidemi, what answer to this question, or what's the answer to that question? I can tell the person, wait, I am thinking. So we can say that in this case, thinking is appropriate. Now, another example of state verb that should not be used in the ing sense. Oh, when you owe someone something like money, O-W-E. Okay. The thing about O is that O is unequivocally stative, or it's unequivocally a stative verb. Okay. Do not use owe in sense, okay, whenever it's as a verb. So instead of saying, I am owing Felix £10, simply say, I owe Felix £10. Do not ever use owe in the ing sense when you mean to indicate that there is something that belongs to someone else that is with you. So don't say, I am owing Felix £10. Say, I owe Felix £10. Don't say, how much were you owing Joseph? Simply say, how much did you owe Joseph? How much did you owe Joseph as of last? Okay. I also have, your parents are not owing me. That's not right. The appropriate thing to say is, your parents do not owe me. Your parents do not owe me. Okay. Then we also have look, L-O-O-K. So instead of saying someone is looking gorgeous, simply say the person looks gorgeous. It's that simple. Okay. Brenda looks gorgeous, or she looks stunning. Do not say Brenda is looking stunning. Okay. Does my father look gorgeous? I didn't say, is my father looking gorgeous? I said, does my father look? So whenever you make use of look to portray sense and perception to, you should not use it in the ing sense. Be that as it may, it is appropriate to say, I am looking at someone. That is absolutely correct. Okay. But whenever you want to use it to portray the fact that someone appears in a way, simply say look or looks if you are dealing with a singular subject. Then we have believe. Believe is another verb that should not be used in the ing. So instead of saying you are believing God for a miracle, simply say you believe God for a miracle. Okay. I believe God for his intervention. I believe God for his timely intervention, not I am believing God. Then we also have the instance of wish. Don't say I am wishing you Merry Christmas. Say I wish you. Okay. My sibling wish a happy married life. Not my sibling is wishing Peter, because wish is another verb, ladies and gentlemen. So do not say my sibling is wishing Peter a happy married life. Simply say my sibling wishes Peter a happy married life. Do not say wishing you Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Simply say I wish you Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We have other instances like understand. Hello, is anyone still there?
Yes, sir, we're here.
So we have understand. So instead of saying, are you understanding what your teacher said? Simply say, do you understand what your teacher said? Okay, so understand is decidedly a stative verb. There is no denying that. There is no gainsaying that. Understand is understand. Do not attempt to use understand in the ing sense. You also have, I remember the advice he gave me. I remember the constructive advice he gave me, not I am remembering the constructive advice. I also have, I prefer a bottle of Pepsi to a bottle of, I didn't say I am preferring. So take note of that. Make mental note of that. I prefer. Okay, very well. I'm almost done. So prefer is another state verb. I prefer a bottle of Pepsi to a bottle of Coke, not I am preferring. I also have ate as another state verb. So don't say John really ate chocolate. Simply say, okay, sorry, don't say John is really hating. I beg your pardon. Don't say John is really hating chocolate. Simply say John really hates chocolate, okay? Last but not least, before I bring the curtain down on today's educative session, we have let me use back. People often say something like, my back is paining me. I hear that a lot too. My back is paining me, my head is paining me, my legs are paining me, and whatnot. Okay, pain is another state verb. So do not say paining, okay? Instead of saying my legs are paining me, simply say my legs hurt. Okay, if you decide to modify hurt with an adverb, you could say my legs hurt badly. Okay, my legs hurt badly, or you could say my legs are hurting me. So please do not say legs are paining me, my back is paining me. Okay, instead of saying my back is paining me, you could simply say my back aches, my back aches, or my back is aching. But if you insist on making use of pain, then that will leave you with no choice but to use pain as a noun, not as a verb. So instead of saying my back is paining me, you could say my back gives me pain. So in this context, pain will no longer be a verb, it will be a noun. So that is the only way by which one can tweak pain so that one can use it in that context. Don't say my back is paining me. Say my back gives me pain or my back aches. Hurts badly. Ladies and gentlemen, and that's about it for today's session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bidemi. We've learned a lot. Thank you so much. Before you go, if you have questions, can you please send us your questions in the comment section while Mr. Bidemi will give us his offer and his handle so that we can follow him, because we are admonished to follow other facilitators. That way we'll be able to learn more from other people. So Mr. Bidemi, could you give us your handle, your offer?
Sorry, man. Sorry, ma'am. I would like you to repeat that. I didn't get what you said.
Social media handles. We'd like to follow you so that we get more.
All right. All right. Okay. For Facebook, my name is simply Bidemi Badamosi. I do Facebook and WhatsApp for now. I don't do Instagram and Twitter. So if you want to reach out to me on Facebook, simply search for Bidemi Badamosi. You should be able to connect with me. My profile reads proofreader, editor, and the like. So when you see that, of course, you should know I'm the one. I think Facebook will suffice for now. Okay, for what contact is 081 748 78421. Let me take that again. 081 748 78421. That's about it, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much. I have a question here. So is it fine to say I am missing? Is it fine to say I am missing? That's a question.
Missing. Missing what? It sounds incomplete. I am missing what? Okay, I am missing you. Okay. Okay. This is an interesting question. Even native speakers do say I am missing you. But the truth is, I think for regard to what I thought today, it's more appropriate to say I miss you, not I am. Okay, I miss you is much more appropriate in that context. Okay, that's a lovely question. More appropriate instead of I am missing you. Although people do say I am missing you too. Recollect that I said earlier on that even native speakers, they violate this principle in their speech. But the thing I've noticed about them is they do not violate this rule whenever they are engaging people setting. So when you pay attention to a native speaker proposing things or trying to read a keynote address, they will always make sure that they stick to these rules whenever they are engaging the state or stative verbs. But whenever they are engaging their friends or other people in informal settings, you are highly likely to hear them say, I am loving this, I am seeing this, are you hearing me, and the like. Yes, native speakers do say that, but for the sake of grammatical accuracy and for the sake of a good number of us that would love to engage different audiences in formal settings, it's appropriate that you stick with the rules. So it's much more appropriate to say, I miss you, not I am missing you. That's about it.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, his WhatsApp number is 081 748 78421. I hope I'm correct, sir.
Yes, you're correct. Then what is what I can see here as projected? The Facebook handle is not Bidemi, but it's Bidemi. The A is not there. Perhaps you were the one that projected that, or someone else. I'm not sure now. It's Bidemi, but the A is not there. So the person should try as much as possible to dispense with the A. It's simply Bidemi and Badamosi, not Abidemi. If you search for Abidemi, you won't get the right individual. So that's it.
All right, another question. How do we learn the right grammar considering the fact that even most of our teachers are guilty of this mistake?
Wow, that's another interesting question. Well, the truth is, I would encourage, first and foremost, I would encourage people to leverage different resources that we have on the internet. Okay, if you are not, if you don't understand a particular grammatical phenomenon well, why not Google it? And of course, you get copious materials online. Okay, you get copious material that we expatiate upon that grammatical phenomenon or that grammatical concept. Another thing is to get a standard dictionary. Okay, reading and studying standard dictionaries will also serve whoever is listening to me at this point. It will also serve you in good stead. Get the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, the 10th edition. Get the Cambridge Advanced Learners. Get the Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English, or get the BBC Dictionary. Okay, these dictionaries will help to propel your communicative competence to dizzy heights. So leverage Google or leverage the internet, and of course get standard. Read editorials. I do tell people, when you read editorials, the truth about editorials is that editorials are proven and thoroughgoing editors, so they hardly make grammatical mistakes. So read editorials from the Punch newspaper, and even from the international variants like the BBC and so that's about it. That's about it.
Thank you so much, sir. Do you have classes? Do you teach people? Maybe someone would like to sign up. Hello, sir. Hello. Oh, hello, sir. Are you with me?
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, sir. I was asking if you have classes where you teach people grammar essentials, everything about grammar. Hello, sir.
Sorry, ma'am.
Can you hear me, sir? Mr. Bidemi.
Hello, ma'am. I'm still here.
Okay, I'm asking if there's a platform where you teach people grammar essentials. Do you teach people or you just speak to people? Do you have any? Oh, we lost Mr. Bidemi. Miss Bukaya. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, well done, ma'am. It should be back very soon. Please let our audience know that we'll have Miss Abimbola as soon as it's done. In about 2 minutes now, Miss Abimbola will come up to finish our session. Then lastly, we would have Oral Peter. So we have about 3 sessions altogether, no break.
All right, ma'am. Oh, Mr. Bidemi, welcome back. Mr. Bidemi,
Thank you, ma'am.
okay. I was asking, like,
Yes, I can.
that Miss Bukola has a platform where she teaches people. So I'm asking, do you have a platform like that where you teach people grammar? Do you
Okay,
have
aside from my Facebook handle where I do most of the social media teaching, I actually run virtual classes on Water, but it's a paid class. It's not for free, you understand? So, but on Facebook, all of the things I teach on Facebook, all of the things there is absolutely free. I don't charge for that. I don't.
All right, so if you need Mr. Bidemi's services, you have his WhatsApp number. You can contact him. Thank you so much, sir. It has been a wonderful session. Thank you so much for your time.
Don't mention it, ma'am.
All right, right about
Don't
now.
mention it, ma'am. It was the least I could do.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of this conference and for making it a success. All right, we have Miss Abimbola. Miss Abimbola, are you here? Say hi. Miss Abimbola, it's your time to give us the rema. The rema. If you're still here with us and you've not subscribed, please click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to our channel. You have to subscribe to our channel. Please do. Doctors, are you still here? Eunice, are you still here? Miss Bukola, can we have Miss Abimbola online? Okay, Mr. Bidemi, can you tell us more while we wait for Mr. Bimbola? So you could, maybe there are still some things you didn't say because of time. You can just get it rolling while we wait for Mr. Bimbola to come up.
All right, but
And then there's more to say. You have more, but time was a factor. So tell us more while we wait for Mr. Bimbola.
Okay, actually, I did try to see if I could rush over everything. I think I was able to cover everything within that short time. So all I just have here are questions that would stand the general listener in good stead. We'll run through those questions, the respective answers to those questions. So the first question here I have is, are you saying that the house needs to be refurbished? That's the first question here. As in, I would love someone to transform that into an appropriate statement. So instead of saying, are you saying that the house needs to be refurbished, it is appropriate to say, can you see? So can you see that the house needs to be refurbished? The next one I have here is, I was hearing them quarreling at the party. I was hearing them quarreling at the party. So instead of saying was hearing, that is, instead of making use of continuous or past progressive tense, it is appropriate to say I could hear them quarreling. You could either say I could hear them quarreling or I heard them quarreling. So I could hear them quarreling at the party, I heard them quarreling at the party are both correct. The next one here is being paid having a pen. Recollect that I said earlier on that whenever have depicts one owns something or possesses something, you are not supposed to use it in the progressive tense. So instead of saying is being paid having a pen, simply say does being paid have a pen. The next one I have here is that middle-aged woman is looking British. In fact, it's a no-brainer that doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound appropriate to say that middle-aged woman is looking British. So the appropriate thing to say is that middle-aged woman looks British. The next one I have here is, are you thinking that I should give Felix a buzz? Take note that you give someone a buzz. You don't buzz someone. Like I hear a good number of people say, let me buzz my friend now. That's not appropriate. The right thing to say is, I should give my friend a buzz now. Not I should buzz my friend now. You give people a buzz, you don't buzz them. So instead of saying, are you thinking that I should give Felix a buzz, it's correct to say, do you think that I should give Felix a buzz? What I have here is, I am wishing that I could lend him a helping hand. Collect that I said earlier that wish is a state verb. So don't say I am wishing that I could lend him a help. Simply say I wish that I could lend him a helping hand. This one I have here is, this house is belonging to Ephraim. This house is belonging. It's also a no-brainer that is not right. So simply say this house belongs to Ephraim. This house belongs to Ephraim. The next one I have here is, Miriam is always loving toddlers. Miriam is always loving toddlers. Instead of saying Miriam is always loving, simply say Miriam loves toddlers always, or Miriam loves, or Miriam always loves toddlers. Miriam always loves toddlers. Instead of saying is loving, simply say loves. Then the next one I have here is not understanding your explanation. Is not understanding your explanation. So instead of saying is not understanding, simply say it does not understand. It does not understand your explanation. I think that's about it. That here, that's all I have here. I don't have any other item here, madam.
Thank you so much. I see Miss Abimbola is ready. Miss Abimbola, can we have you back on air with us to continue your session? Thank you so much, Mr. Bidemi. That was
You're
a
welcome,
wonderful and thrilling section. Miss Bokola, is Miss Abimbola ready? Miss Abimbola, are you here?
Okay. Wow. Learned from your session. Fine celebration and quite expository as well. Thank you so very much, sir. More grace, more wisdom, and believe me, you are going places. I really appreciate you. Thank you for honoring me. And thank you for giving us so much. Okay, so it's supposed to be Miss Abimbala's session, but she's not here. I believe she will join us soon. Okay. So while we are waiting, please, if you have any more question for Mr. Bidemi Gbadamosi, please send in your questions. And remember to follow him on Facebook at Bidemi Gbadamosi, and his WhatsApp number. We have it on the screen. Please, you really need to take one of his classes. Seriously, there is a whole lot to learn. A lot to learn. While we wait for Miss Abimbola, please send in your questions. Please send in your questions. While we await Miss Abimbola, please send in your questions. Are you still here?
Dorcas, don't you have a
Not
question?
here alone, please. Let's know if we're here alone. If we're not here alone, rather.
You're not alone.
We need to be sure we're not talking to ourselves.
All right, I'll join in now. Sorry, my phone's battery is running.
Okay, we have a question now. We have a question, moderator.
Please, the appropriate usage of need and needed. When should it be used? Need and needed. Mr. Bidemi, can you hear us? Mr. Bidemi, we can't hear you. Maybe you should unmute your mic.
I can hear you.
We can't hear you, sir. We cannot hear you.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, so like I said before you notified me that you couldn't hear me, I said need is simply the present tense of the verb. Then needed is the past tense or past participial form of that verb. So need should be used in the present tense. Okay, like I need to. Let me see now. Okay, I need one bottle of Pepsi. Okay, then needed should be used in the past tense. Needed should be used in the past tense or the past.
Mr. Bidemi, we need you. We need you. We need you now. We
Hello, mom. Can you still hear me?
we can now, sir. I can hear you
Okay,
now.
okay. So I'm sorry about that. So like I said earlier, I said need is the present tense. Why needed is the past tense or past participle form. So need should be used when you want to portray that action at that moment. Like I need a bottle of Pepsi. Now needed on the other hand is used maybe when you want to report someone has said early on. Like he said that they badly needed a change, maybe a change of environment or whatever, so that they badly needed a change. So what you need to know is need is used in the present tense, why needed is used in the past tense, especially when you want to report what someone has said. You want to use it in the reported speech. They badly needed a change, they badly needed an adjustment or something like that. That's about it.
All right. Thank you, sir. We have another one. Is there any appropriate time to use understood? Is there any appropriate time to use understood?
Is there any appropriate time to use what?
Understood. Understood. Understood.
Yes. It's almost the same thing as yes. It's almost the same thing as need and needed. Now, understood too should be used maybe when you are trying to relay a piece of information to someone. I understood what teacher said yesterday. Okay, you want to relay a piece of information, or you want someone said early on. Maybe somebody said, I understand you now. Okay, you want to report that. You could say, whoever the person is, maybe the person's name is Peter. You could say Peter said that he understood the teacher or whoever that person is then. You know, in whenever you want to change direct speeches to indirect or reported speeches, now becomes then. So if someone says something like, I understand you now, and you want to report it, you can say, Peter said that he understood then. So understood is used to indicate that you understand what somebody said in the past, or when you want to report a speech, you want to report what somebody said to you directly. That's how I can explain that as simply as possible.
Thank you so much, sir. We have another question from Eunice. What if you say I needed to leave as in past tense? What if you say I needed to leave in past tense?
Okay, now in that context, it should be that you are not saying you are conversing with the person that you intend to inform that you need to leave. Let's assume I'm in a room with someone now, and I'm supposed to leave at that point in time. The right thing for me to say is I need to leave now, not I needed to leave. Okay, but let's assume I was trying to relay what happened between that person and me. I'm trying to relate to someone else. Then I could say, okay, at that point I need to leave. You can see in the context that I was with that person that I'm supposed to part company with, it's appropriate to say I need to leave now. John, I have other things to do. I need to leave now. But let's assume I'm with Paul now, and I'm trying to tell Paul what happened between John and me. Then I can tell Paul, well, I was discussing with Paul, then at point I needed to leave. So in this case now, I'm not discussing with that person that actually warranted the use of that action. I'm discussing with someone else. So in that context, now it's appropriate to say I needed to leave at that point in time. And that was why I left. Okay, so that's it. I need to leave. When you're with a person, I needed to leave. Maybe when you're trying to narrate the development, or you're trying to state what happened in the reported speech. That's it.
All right, so we have from Aisat Badmos. the usage of have and has.
Have
Have
and
and
has. Okay, simply put, have is used with plural subjects. When I say plural subject, I mean plural nouns and plural pronouns. Okay, we have John has. John is one individual, so I should say John has, not John have. Okay, then we have John and Peter have. Now I'm talking about two, so I should say John and Peter have. Okay, all right, ma'am. No problem.
thank you so much, sir. Miss Abimbola, we're so sorry. You can continue with your session. You're welcome back, ma'am.
Wow, whole lot. In fact, I took notes.
Miss Abimbola, are you still here?
Wow, thank you so much for your session. Yes, I'm
Yes,
here.
ma'am, I
I can
can
see
hear
my.
you now.
Please, can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can, ma'am.
So, I'm sorry about.
Okay, looks like we lost Miss Up. Sorry for using that word. You know, people say, I had one time I read a post and they say, it seems we lose people that almost every day on radio because the next thing you hear, oh, we lost him, we lost her. So we've not lost her. I think she's having network issues. So when she'll be back shortly, I hope you got value. I hope it was worth your time. It was worth your data. If it is, if your answer is yes, please let us know in the comment section. And if you're just joining us and you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that now. Please do so. Do that. Do that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Aisat, we're so sorry we couldn't take your last question because we had Miss Abimbola and she's right back. You're welcome back, ma'am.
Sorry, I got logged out by the platform itself.
Oh, sorry about that, ma'am.
So, please, I would need Miss Bukola to, and then I go ahead with my session. Well, while we wait for her to do so, I'll recap on what I did earlier. So, marks and their usage. So, I started off talking about you not being able to be there when you need there. Some sort of guidelines into understanding exactly what you've written, punctuation, marks. So, the slide now. Thank you so much. So, I gave just 4 uses of capitalization.
Miss Abimbola, are you still here? Hello, Miss Abimbola.
Yeah. All right, so we have capitalization when you are doing the big sentences. You make use of capital letters. Could you please just let the slide alone show so people could read. I'll be that way. Thank you so much. Then please go to the next slide. I mentioned that you use to begin sentences. You use capital letters to begin sentences. Capital letters are used when we are forming acronyms. Are used when we are forming acronyms. The next punctuation mark I'll be talking about full stop. And in American English, the full stop is called the period. In American English, it is called. Okay, could you please the other slide that has to do with there are 2 slides on full stop, please. So the full stop shows the end of when you're done with a sentence. The very first is to show you the end of a sentence. The other, which is the last one that I included in the slide. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We use it to. Okay, we use full stops to mark a question or an exclamation. So when you make it a full stop, it's telling you, okay, it is not a question. It's just a statement that I'm not telling you to really give me feedback on. And it's not an exclamation that I'm trying to show you. I say I'm excited or I'm alarmed or anything. It's just a simple sentence. Like I put it here, simple statement rather. The different kinds of sentences here. So they're just telling you things, opinions, simply. Nobody's asking you a question or telling you to give it. Now the second use is to indicate a brief. Abbreviations occur when you take, so that way you have abbreviations, like we have Mr., Mrs. Now in this case, for British, the full stop at the end of it. But when it comes to American, you have the R. It's already been abbreviated. Mr. MR, it's been abbreviated. That way you see it's a word that some parts of it have been taken away, abbreviated. So in American English, of abbreviations like this, but in British English, times like AM. That's now that when I mentioned acronyms earlier, that sometimes acronyms have different. Some come in capital letters, some just small letters. The same thing is happening here with AM and PM. So they've been abbreviated, and when you shorten a word, like I mentioned, you shorten it. So you have February, as you can see there, FEB, then a full stop, showing you this is not a full word. Something has been taken out of it. But most of them understand what has been taken out. So you just have WED in the sentence. Is scheduled for Wednesday. You can see it's been abbreviated that way. Go to the next one now, because I said I just want to touch. Okay, the third is that when you make use of decimal points. Now, a slide on full stop, please, Ms. Bukola. Thank you so much. The full stop in between letters. Sorry, numbers that have been. Okay, thank you so much. When you have it in between numbers, now this is what people do. Sometimes I've heard people 0.4. That full stop is showing you this is a decimal place. And that is a decimal point. And the decimal point shows number ends. So once it ends, any other thing at the end, at the back, or right after the decimal as individual numbers. So you don't say 25.44. No, 0.44. Now for net for currencies, for money now, you could say, okay, let's say in Nigeria we use Naira and Kobo, right? That's whole number. But if you notice the cost of the currency. So those are the ways we make use of decimal of the full.
Apologies, everyone. I believe she is experiencing network glitches. She should join us very soon. We apologize for that.
So the full stop, okay, I stopped there at question mark. The question. So as the name implies, the question mark is used. An answer is expected. If I want you to give me a reference as you're reading, please question mark, question mark. To give me an answer to a question as you're reading. I don't end question mark to show you that I am asking you a question. I need you to respond. So question marks, that's the very first they are being used. So used to end sentences. And here you see it says, are you okay? That's the direct question. Are you okay? You that put here is that they are used in question tag. Follow statements. The follow situation. Like
Hello,
to be so
ma'am.
sure that okay, what I just said, am I right or wrong? So like I put on the screen, I asked,
Hello, Miss Abimbola.
I just want to be so sure. I wanted to really
Her network is critically poor. We apologize for that. I understand that we could hardly hear her due to a network connection. We apologize for that.
And maybe you could read her slides for us while we wait for her.
We apologize for this, please. She's trying to join us. Oh. Hi everyone. We apologize for that. She's trying to she's trying to show up again. So she should be up soon.
Okay, please, can you hear me now? All right, everyone can see and hear me. Okay, I had to change my location. I was having network issues, I guess. So let's see what I do. Okay, please, what I will do is this. I will try to run through one slide in 20 seconds because it's like the platform is logging me out every 20 seconds. So please permit me to just run through each slide in 20 seconds. So here I'm done with this. I'm done with the question mark. Then the next slide on question mark, please. The next slide. Thank you. So the next where you use question marks is when you are trying to show a sort of inflection. So, okay, inflections are statements that are turned to questions just by raising the pitch of your voice at the end of the sentence. So you've heard people say something like, I meant to be there. And somebody just told you you're meant to be there, maybe at a party or at a meeting, and then you didn't know it's that way. And you're like, I meant to be there. Meaning, what you just told me, are you really serious? I need to be so sure. All right. So like here, I put, she wants to get a raise. So when a person says this, you're like, wait, did Dorothy tell you she wants to get a raise? Now that's a different thing from she wants to get a raise. Somebody just told you Dorothy wants to get a raise. Instead of asking, did Dorothy want to get a raise? You already listened to what the person said. You already heard. So what you want to now say is she wants to get a raise. Like, am I sure what I'm hearing is correct? Or you're kind of surprised. So that way you can still use inflections. It's more like trying to get to be sure that what you heard is correct, or to just ascertain, or to just really confirm that way. And another way you could use inflections. That's why I didn't change. I didn't add this another point. Is if you want to, if the speaker is hoping for a certain kind of reply. Now here I said, I think the example I gave here, I think we should involve the board of directors to discuss this before the papers are signed. Now here the person is not actually saying, I think we should do this. The person is asking the listener that, don't you think we should do this? I believe that you might want to reconsider before we do this. I believe you really want us to involve the board of directors. When you do that, when you use an inflection at the end of a sentence, it's just telling the person that is listening to you that, okay, I really need more information, or I want your own input here. So that's why I said note. Okay, that's the end of it. Note, when a statement or a sentence contains an indirect question, do not use a question mark. Like, He asked if she had found the box. Now, that is not a direct question. That's an indirect question. So he asked if I found the box. That is indirect. Okay. She demanded to know where they were going. Now, it's different from she asked them, where are you going? Even that, it is now going to be in quotes. The where are you going would be in quotes, and the question mark would be inside. So, okay, I'll be getting to quotation soon enough. So what you need to know is that when you're repeating a question, or when you're asking indirect questions, or you're stating indirect questions, do not add question marks when you're writing. So like I'm saying, okay, I want to ask you if you've heard me. Now, I didn't say, I wouldn't put a question mark at the end of that, because what I am asking you, I've already said it in the sentence, but it's not actually a direct question. So I'll move on from there to the last of these marks, which would be exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. So for the exclamation mark, as the name implies, it shows like you're kind of exclaiming. So too often it shows surprise. It shows it shows more like a rush of emotions. It to show happiness. So when you use an exclamation mark, it's showing you this is not a question. It's showing this is not a statement. It's showing you there is added emotions to what I am saying. So for American English, it is called exclamation point. Exclamation point. And like I put it here, the exclamation mark is used to express surprise, excitement, or astonishment. So I saw that I added an Oxford comma here. I'll explain that soon when we get to comma. Please note, right before or I added an Oxford comma. I'll explain that when we get to commas, please. So now it is common in informal writing, meaning when when you have a formal write up to do, maybe an email, maybe for a proposal, when it is a formal kind of writing, you want to avoid exclamations as much as possible. You want to avoid exclamations. Now, another thing I've noticed people do is that people sometimes add 10 exclamation marks, 15 exclamation marks. To them, when I add so many exclamation marks, I want to show that I'm serious. That's not true. One exclamation mark would do just fine. So you want to avoid adding too many exclamation marks to your writing. All right. So, and what do I have to say? The next point I put here is we use exclamation marks to express humor, irony, or sarcasm. As you can see here in the next I did not add the extra comma before the or. I'll explain that when we get to comma. I'm just trying to point your attention to it. So I put it here. Somebody said, we'll take the dog to the vet when we are back from the trip. And the response came, what a splendid idea. Now, maybe the dog is sick, and then let's say it's a husband and a wife, a couple. And the husband is telling the wife, we'll take the dog to the vet when we are back from the trip. Or maybe it's a 3-week trip. And then wife was like, what a splendid idea. Now, you could tell that this is not a splendid idea. This is just kind of being sarcastic. So we can use exclamation marks
Good
to
evening, ma'am.
display this as well.
Yes, ma'am. Are you done with the other speakers, the grammar part?
Miss Bukola. Okay. So the exclamation mark could be used that way. And I've already explained, please do not use too many exclamation marks at the same time. One is enough. And please, another thing you don't want to do, please, when she brings up the slide, you can see them, is that you don't want to use an exclamation mark right after any other ending punctuation mark.
We're sorry she's logged out again, and we hope she gets back in here soon. I hope you're learning. At least for me now, I know that the British English, you should not add a full stop to Mr., Mrs., and Doctor. I'm always very conscious of my full stop when I'm writing, especially Mr. and Mrs. But now I know better, so I can decide to relax it a little bit because in the British English, you don't have to include your full stop when you are abbreviating those words. So I believe you are learning. And also, she mentioned the Oxford comma. I look forward to learning what that is. So let's just hope she returns here soon. Welcome back, ma'am. We cannot see your face.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. She's here, but we can see her face and we cannot hear her.
Okay.
Oh, it's past 7. And we're supposed to start Mr. Oral Peter's session. Miss Abimbala, you here? You need to round off the session.
Oh my.
I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me.
Her. She can hear us, but we cannot hear her.
Hello, Miss Bukola. Hello. Hello. All right, everybody, if you can hear me, please let me know in the comment section that you can hear me and that you're still with us. We're so sorry for the network glitches Miss Abimbola is experiencing. Just so we know that we're not alone, we're not alone, we're not alone, we're not alone talking to ourselves. Please, let's see. Okay. Oh, Mr. Peter, we'll soon be having you speak to us. Thank you, sir. Miss Bukola. Eunice, are you still here? Darkers, are you here with us? All right, I guess that's the much we can take for Mr. Bimbola. Miss Bukola, can we have Mr. Peter do his session? Mr. Peter, can you join us, please? We need to hear from you. Oh, Grace, don't worry. You haven't, yes, you missed, but don't worry, you still get more things. You still learn new things. So hopefully we'll be having Mr. Peter. All right, so we have Mr. Peter with us. So Grace, don't worry, you're going to get something today's conference. Hello, Mr. Peter. Hello. Oh, Khalifa. Mr. Peter, good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Oh, Mr. Peter. Khalifat, you missed. So there's no point hoping that you didn't miss. You missed. I can't lie to you. You've missed. You've missed Mr. Bidemi's session. You've missed Mr. Bimbola's session, even though she had some network glitches. But you've missed. Don't worry, you're not going to miss this session. I hope you're still going to be with us for this session. This is the last session. We really want to thank you all for staying with us despite the challenges we were faced with. You didn't give up on us. Thank you so much. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for believing in this conference. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your spending your data. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And if you've not clicked on, if you've not subscribed rather on our YouTube channel, please do well to click on the subscribe button. We can't afford to lose you. We want you. You're a very vital part of Fluent Speech. So even after the conference, we want you to still be a part of our family, this family, the Fluent family. We love you and want to see you again and again and again, want to hear from you, want to keep adding values to you, keep adding value to you, because you are an important part of us. Mr. Peter, do we have you? Your full attention, not divided, network not taking you away from us. Hello, sir. I can't hear you. I can only see you. We can only see you. See you. Hello, Mr. Peter. Hello, Mr. Peter. Oh, Mary Ndidi, Mary, thank you for joining us. Yes, we can't hear you, Mr. Peter. We can't hear you. So good to have you with us, Mary.
Hi, Mr. Peter. It prefers you call him Oral Peter, not Peter.
But we can't
Hi,
hear him.
we
Hi,
cannot hear you.
yes, we
We
can.
cannot hear you. Can you hear us? We cannot hear you. No, we can't. We can only see your handsome face. We cannot hear your interesting voice. To our audience, we apologize. We apologize for that. I think it's the network challenge.
We can't hear you. We're protesting because we can't hear you. Mr. Oral Peter, I cannot hear you. All right, while we wait for Oral Peter, if you have a question from Miss Abimbola's session, do well to ask Mr. Oral Peter rather, Oral Peter. So if you have any question, don't worry, we'll hear him soon. We shall hear him soon, soon. So if you have any question from Miss Abimbola's session, you can do well to ask all for the previous sessions. Yesterday we had Craig Sahode, the English doctor. Mr. Peter, Peter, I guess you should unmute your mic. Maybe it's muted. Try unmuting your mic. Miss Bukola, we have a question. Miss Bukola.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Other
Hello.
verbs.
Mr. Peter, please check. Please be sure you're not on mute. Please be sure you're not on mute. We can't hear you. Be sure you're not on mute. We can't hear you. Or you might want to try talking without the headset. Maybe that will work. We cannot hear you. We still cannot hear you. It's back here. The generator just um, went off. To our audience, we apologize for this. It's trying so hard to connect with us, and we just hope it will get through as soon as possible.
We had a question, ma'am. The question was, can a verb be used both as stative and dynamic? Is there a verb that can be used both as stative and dynamic? I think that was the question. Hello, Miss Bukola. Miss Khalifa, if you resend the question, because don't seem to find the question. I can't find the question because I had to log out. I was logged out by network and I came in and the chats are not displaying any longer. Please, can you resend your question? Miss Bukola would answer. While we wait for Oral Peter. Khalifat, if you can hear me, please can you resend your question so that it can be answered? Can you resend your question? Away, uh-oh. If you're here, say hi. Send your question, Miss Khalifat, so that you can get an answer. We want you to leave here satisfied. We want you to leave here thrilled. We want you to leave here educated. Sending your questions. Wait for our Peter. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. And you remember you can follow us on Instagram at Fluent Speech, Facebook, Fluent Speech, and you can also follow the convener, Miss Olubukola, on Facebook. Olubukola RB Agbalaya, that's her Facebook handle. So if you've not done so, please do well to follow. And don't forget, you can follow Mr. Craig on Craig Communications on Instagram and Craig Esahade on Facebook. And for Miss Deborah, you can follow her on Instagram, I beg your pardon, at Sophia Universal. That's her Instagram handle. You can follow her on Sophia. Oh, we're so sorry we couldn't get Miss Abimbola's social handle because of her network. So if you're still here, please let us know. Send in your comments. Let us know you're with us. Let's know that we're not alone. We're not alone. We're not doing this on our own. We're here for you. And you are the reason why we are here. We can't do this on our own. We can't do this on our own. We need you. We need you. I need you. You need me. We need you. So, send in your comments. Let's know you're here with us. You're still here with us. And we appreciate you for your time. Alright, Peter, is everything okay now? Are you ready? Hello? Okay, I think we can hear you now, so there's hope. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Say something so that we are sure that we can hear you. So that we are sure we can hear you. Hello, sir. Uh-oh. Not again. Not again. Alright, so our audience, if you're still here, please let us know. Send in your comments. Let's know you're here with us, that we're not alone. We're not doing this alone. We still have you with us. Please send in comments. Could say hi. Let us know you're here.
Hello.
Alright, thank you, Khalifat, for resending your question. Miss
Hello, can you hear
Bukola.
me?
Oh, thank God we can hear you. Good evening, sir. Alright, Peter, are you here with us?
Can
We are trying to. We heard you earlier, but now we cannot hear you. Alright, Peter.
Yes, yes. Can you hear me? You, you can't hear me?
No, we can't hear you.
We can hear you. We can hear you now.
Miss Bukola,
Yes, ma'am.
please, there's a question. While we're waiting for oral Peter, this question needs urgent attention.
Okay.
Are there verbs that could both work as stative and dynamic verb? Are there verbs that could both work as stative and dynamic verb?
Yes, there are. We have verbs that can work both as stative and dynamic verbs. For example, we can have a verb like see. When it's an action, then it's a dynamic verb, as Mr. Bidemi has explained. When you're using the word see as an action, then it's acting as a dynamic verb. So you can say seeing. But if it's not an action, if it is just showing us a perception of something, then it's a stative verb. So we can have a verb that can act as a stative verb and it can also act as a dynamic verb. I hope I have answered that question.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. I'm sorry about the name pronunciation. Copy, yeah, not Califat. I'm so sorry. All right, Mr. Oral Peter, are you ready for us? Oral Peter, are you ready? Are you ready for us? We've been waiting to hear your voice. We've been waiting to hear from you. Tell us you're ready. Don't break our hearts. Please. We waited this long for you now.
It's trying so hard to connect with us, but I believe it will pull through this. Let's just be patient. Yes, we can hear you. We have answered that.
Loud and clear.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please let us
Finally.
know in the comment section.
Okay.
If you can hear him, please let us know in the comment section.
All
I
right.
can
So,
hear him.
I start or how
Yes, please, you can start. We've been waiting for you.
to go?
You're good to go. Not again.
Right. Good evening, everybody, and it's nice to be here. So, talk about I'll be back to speak impeccably. Okay, barriers to speaking impeccably. That, that's my topic. So I changed that topic to barriers to speaking English language impeccably. Okay, because is language. So we have so many areas, that will hinder a speaker from speaking impeccably. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Answer.
Can you hear me? Can you me?
Again, not again, not again. Network be favorable.
Obstacles, okay? Impediments, boundaries, blockages, okay? Anything that will hinder you from getting. Right. So the first barrier I'll talk about tonight is your home. Your home be a barrier. Okay? Your home can be a barrier for you to learn, speak English language effectively. All right? So, uh, I'd like to share a story of Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah is a South African and also a comedian. All right? And he shared this story in his social media on Instagram and Facebook. So, he said his parents, his dad in particular, you know, was proud to send them to a private school. And even though he likes the idea that kids are in private school to return home and all, doesn't want that. It's what happened, they were gathered watching TV and the, the guard, like, he said to him, he said, football, and then Trevor says, you mean to increase the volume? Please don't come here and act smart. Okay, somebody who's paying your school fees to learn and then telling you to shut up. So your home can be a barrier. So you don't stop saying the right thing. You continue. You continue even when people are telling you to shut up. Tell your dad, anyone around you, telling you to shut up. You don't shut up. You continue to say the right thing. Okay? That's the first barrier I have here. The second barrier I have here is your environment. Your environment will also be to learn how to speak to good English. Now, I'm saying barrier, I'm not saying barrier, okay? Because the stress was on the first syllable and not in the second. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Where's your smartphone? Are you sure this thing will not make you? I'm asking you. Make you? It doesn't make you. Okay. It makes my daddy. Yeah. Okay. It's not for adults. Okay.
We can
Okay.
hear you, sir.
It cannot. It. Yeah. Mm.
Hi, Aura Peter.
Sorry, guys, for
Hi, Aura Peter.
Trying to. Trying to switch desktop so I can. When I was telling you
please
now, because
bear with
when
us
I
with
was telling you.
network glitches. Just with us.
In fact, this one was I who asked
Step,
for pass to LinkedIn. When it was
we are
already
taking
past 7.
our baby
I'm
steps.
asking her. Don't
Next,
you see? She wasn't like, it's past 7. No. Women are doing something. Yeah, they don't.
I got locked out. Hello, Miss Bukola. Okay, we're so sorry. Mr. Arvita will be back online with us. He's experiencing network glitches. He'll soon join us. So let us know, has this conference been impactful from day one? Today is the last day, the grand finale, and it's supposed to be superb, but we're so sorry we are having network glitches. But we do hope that, and we believe, not just hope, that our next conference will be better. This is the first conference, and I mean, we tried. We have tried. We tried. I don't appreciate us. We have tried. Even though the network was good to us too, we have tried small. We have tried. You too, you've tried. Thank you for being the best audience we could ever ask for. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for not giving up on us. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you so much. Thank you for your effort. Thank you for taking us. And we hope this brings has been you got value for the sessions that you. Miss Bukola, are you still here with us?
Okay, everyone. I tried reaching out to Mr. Oro Peter and is trying to log on again. We apologize for all the glitches, the challenge we had. However, I am fulfilled and very grateful. You know, I just keep telling God, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Alhamdulillah. Yes, it's worth it. We've got lots of up and downs. We've got lots of reasons to stop this along the line. Day 2, day 1, I had reasons to say I cannot continue. But I give all the glory to God that gave me the strength and grace to be here right now. So bear with us. In fact, I don't need to say that lots of you, even with the challenge we had day 1, day 2, you're still here. Someone like Kafilat, you've been following through since day 1. I am so grateful. Thank you. Thank you so much. We have quite a number of you. I cannot find your name right now, that you've been with us from day 1 up to this moment, even with our imperfection, with the lots of challenge we had. Thank you so graciously. I appreciate you. And to my moderator, I really owe you, ma'am. To my moderator, I owe you. Thank you so graciously. And to all the speakers, thank you for making this happen. And not just happening, but making it worthwhile. You are all appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you all. I hope Mr. Oro Peter will join us. However, I appreciate everyone that has been here from day 1 and those of you that joined in day 2 and some of you that just joined tonight. You are all appreciated. Thank you for being a part of our journey. Thank you for making this worthwhile. Thank you for not making our efforts go down the drain. Because if I would tell you, if I should tell you, we have put in a whole lot into this, a whole lot, talking about the spiritual aspect, the emotional aspect, the financial aspect, and seriously, we have put in a whole lot, and I appreciate God and appreciate you as well for making this worthwhile, for making us being where we are right now. Thank you so much. And to those of you that would always join and you don't put in your comments, I need to appreciate you also. Thank you, because sometimes when I just go back to see the number of viewers, sometimes we have 200 and something viewers, we have 100 and something viewers, 51 viewers, and all of that. That's a whole lot to me. Thank you so graciously. But remember, it is important for you to subscribe to our channel, because this is not just what we'll do here. There will be lots of learning, lots of live sessions, especially night classes. For those of you that feels, okay, you need this knowledge, and you can come for night classes. I tell you, I will be doing lots of night classes or night session on this platform. So I advise you to subscribe to this YouTube channel right away, so that you would always get prompts, you would always get notified whenever we have any upcoming event, or even when we're live at the moment. So I appreciate everyone. Let me check on Mr. Oro Peter again to be sure it will still join us, so that I just don't keep you waiting. So please give me a few minutes. Moderator, please take charge.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, viewers, audience, our wonderful, beautiful audience. Thank you so much. We can't thank you enough. We really thank God for your lives. We thank God for all that you've done. We thank you. We cannot thank you enough. But most importantly, let's not forget to practice all that we've been told, all that we've been taught. Practice, practice, practice. We cannot overemphasize on that. So keep practicing. Don't be intimidated. And remember that fluency is not about. Alright, Oro Peter is back. I hope he's back for real this time. No network. Oro Peter.
Hello. Someone is talking. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. We can hear you, Oro Peter. Mr. Peter, we can hear you.
You can Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, loud and clear.
Can you hear me? Where did I stop?
You tell us a story. Mr. Arthur, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, sir. You stopped mental barrier and you were telling us a story. So, and it's not clear. Not even long.
Hello.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay. I stopped at the environmental barrier. Very, I can continue. All right. So your environment can also be a barrier. All right. Bible Saul prophesied not once. Okay. So you staying. Okay. Stay. Move. So you can and meet people who motivate you and people who will talk to you in the good way. All right. I know a friend who knows a friend who went abroad. For just 1 year. Okay. This guy returned to Nigeria, and this guy returned with a British accent. No kidding. Okay. He returned with a British accent, and people think like, hey, you went there 1 year. Okay. How come you can speak like the natives? What happens? Environment. Okay. So your environment matters a lot. If you can move, right? Stay where around you are petty traders. People selling vegetable, people selling all these petty things we can eat, or people selling clothes. Right? That might not be a very good environment for you to practice speaking. Okay, English language. Yes. All right. Moving on to my next barrier is the your peers. Your peers can be a barrier. All right. If you're trying to learn and then they are trying to pull you down. All right. Let's say you learned a word now. Let's say you learned how to pronounce barrier. Okay. Perhaps they say barrier, and then you come to them that okay, they tell you, why are you trying to speak posh? All right. So what you do in that case is you can change friends as well. You can change friends. Okay, it's possible for you to change friends if your peers will bring you down and say bad things about you and tell you to shut up and tell you that they, that they can't hear you. All right, you can change your friends and say good morning, and then they would say good morning. All right, not people that will say good morning. Yeah, like people say here in Nigeria. Right, so that's my third point. My fourth point is the you barrier. Do you know you can be your own barrier? Yeah, yeah, you can. I have a few points here under that as a sub point. The first thing I have here is not practicing the things you've heard. For example, now this conference started here, with Sophia coming on board, and then Jessica Okafor, and then English doctor, okay, and then the speech rebrander, and today the grammar god, Bidimi Badamosi, of course, Bridget Fluent doing her part. So you've heard a lot of things, right? But when you don't practice this thing, okay, you lose them. All right. So that's a barrier. That's a problem. Okay, that's a problem. The things you've heard, the things you have to put them. All right. The only way you can have mastery. Okay, that's the first point under the U. Second point under the U. Unbelief. Yes, unbelief, or what I call self-doubt. Yeah. Some of you have learned how to say some things, and don't just believe you can. Okay, can. All right. You just believe like, okay. That's self-doubt. That unbelief. You have to believe in the things you've learned, and then you have to listen. Trying to be fast. I'm looking at the time. The next point I have here is the fear of what will people think syndrome. Yeah. Okay. Imagine you learned how to pronounce the word pepper as right. The word is pepper, and then you go to a pepper seller, of course, and then you say, "Hello, ma'am, I want some peppers, some peppers." Right? And then you don't want to say that because you think, or now, worst case scenario is that she will tell you that she doesn't have pepper. Okay? Meanwhile, she has it, but she might say she doesn't have. Okay? That's the case scenario. That's what you're asking. So, why would you have that fear? Why would you not want to, use the words? All right. So self-doubt. Sorry, the fear of what people think. That's my third point. So the remedy is that you don't have that fear. You let fear. All right. If you want something, you practice. You continue of it. My next point is your mother tongue tone. Mother tongue tone. If you're a Yoruba person, and then you have a Yoruba accent, okay? You speak English, people can easily say, "Oh, this guy is from Oyo," okay? Or if you're an Ibibio man, like Sam, and then you speak English, people can say, "Oh, this guy is an Ibibio," right? Or you are an Hausa person, Hausa person, and then you speak English, people can say, "This guy is Hausa." Do you understand me? So the remedy of that is go for an accent reduction class. Okay? Go for reduction. English language is a neutral language. We don't want to hear you and don't want to know where you're from when you're speaking. Okay? If you need an accent reduction class, you need to, or a trainer who will train you, and you can reach out to me from Fluent Speech. Any of us, okay, would be happy to train you now. You can reduce your is not following all media. Yeah, with your friends, okay, on your Facebook. Who are your friends? So follow like people. That's the remedy to that problem barrier. Okay, 2 minutes to go. Okay, my next point is not. There are so many books on spoken English, so many books on oral English that you can buy and read and practice and listen to audios and get better. Okay, you can buy the CEPD, that's a pronouncing dictionary, 18th edition by Daniel Jones. You can buy so many books. I have books myself that you can buy, e-books, okay, that you can buy and read and get better at spoken English. So that's a remedy barrier. My next problem, my next barrier is not watching BBC or CNN. Okay, you don't watch BBC. How do you get her? Okay, just watch, just listen to how they cast their news. All right. So that's a remedy to that. My next problem is not watching British or American movies. Yes, that's also a barrier. If you don't watch this, how do you get better? You have to be conscious of what you're watching. Watch British movies. Okay, for example, some movies that you watch that will, affect the way you pronounce your words. Sentences. All right. Very, very good. My next point, my next problem, not the you problem, is when you fail to learn the 40 or 49 or some keep practicing. You have to buy one, 500. Okay, you can start to read. So what I have for you on my session tonight. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks to Fluent Speech for organizing this amazing conference. So let me know if you have any question. Although if you have any question.
All right, thank you, Peter. Before you leave, can we have your social media handle?
Okay, I still have 5 minutes. Let me use that questions, please. Okay, let me your questions.
Yes, sir.
I'm waiting for you. My time is going.
Before the questions come in, sir, can we have your handle?
Things you've learned in this conference, you have to, use them. If you don't, you lose it. Like I would say, if you don't use it, you will lose it. You don't understand anger. Then he said, "Oh," I said, "Yeah." So, practice, have mutual. You can speak with a native speaker, and then they can understand you. So let me have your question now. I think I have to go. I have 3 minutes to go. Go.
Hello, sir. Hello. Please,
2 minutes to
if
go.
you have any questions, please do well to
Sure.
type them in the comment section. Mr. Aro Peter, if you can hear me, please, I need your social media handle and your offers.
Do we have any question?
Okay.
We'll lose it.
Mm.
The things you've learned, practice, practicing. There is no shortcut to learning. Practice and practice. So the first one is the home. The second one is your peers, and is the you. Another the you problem. 10 things hinder you from practicing, from being a better English speaker. Okay, needs to go. One to go. So, any question?
It appears there's no questions, though. Aro Peter. No questions. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Even with the network glitches, you still made out time to speak to us. We're so grateful. Yeah. Indeed grateful. Oh yes, this is the last session for the conference.
No.
Do you have a question you need? Please ask. Mr. Aro Peter needs to answer questions.
Yeah, good evening. I'm fine, thank you. And you?
My time is up. Thank you for
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I missed your call.
questions. Type any question. I can't see him here.
There's no question, sir. No question. Yes.
So thank you guys for coming. Thank you for
Mr. Aro Peter, what did you say?
Okay, thanks so graciously, sir. We appreciate you. Please share your social media handle and offers with us. Okay, Miss Ibinabo, I guess he could not hear you all the while you're asking for his handle. He didn't get that. I apologize for that. I tried sending that to you also. I don't know if you get it. Okay,
Yes,
his Instagram handle is
at Aro Peter and Facebook at Aro Peter. So do well to follow him.
Thank
Remember.
you so very much.
Oh, ma'am, someone is asking, is there a replay? Because she has missed.
Yes, for all of the sessions, we'll have the replay for a few days. For all of the sessions, we'll have the replay for a few days, and we'll pull it down very, very soon. We'll have it for a few days. I don't know how soon, but if at all you need to watch, you can go ahead to watch now. So it will go off in few days. I can't remember, excuse me, I can't remember how many days that will stay. So if you really want to watch any of the replay for any of the session, you can go ahead to our YouTube channel, Fluent Speech, to watch the replay. I will share the YouTube channel link on the Telegram group. So thank you so graciously for being a part of this. And we have come to the end of the conference. Wow, wow, wow. I appreciate everyone for making this happen, from the speakers to the moderator to the audience. You are all appreciated. You are all loved. I appreciate you. Thank you. And I'm very sure you have learned one thing or the other. I'm very sure it's been a worthwhile session for you. Your stay here have been worthwhile. So please do me a favor. Go on your social media, Facebook, Instagram, whichever one. It could be your WhatsApp status, to tell us what you have learned. I would so much appreciate if you can just say, wow, the Fluent Speech Annual Conference, using the hashtag FSA was valuable, or it was worthwhile. Just a sentence, and please tag me. I will appreciate that so, so much. So I look forward to seeing that on Facebook and on Instagram. as from this moment. So thank you once again. We have come to the end of the FSAC 2020. I look forward to seeing you in the FSAC 2021. And it promises to be better and worthwhile as well. So to our moderator, what do you have for our audience? Hi, moderator. Hi. Hi. Okay. Okay, I think my moderator is experiencing network glitches. We'll see you again next year. Thank you. Bye.